Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. We are here for another week of Eagles football, news and rumors, you name it. The Joe and Joe show is here and back for a fifth time in a row. As long as Joe likes to stay, we keep these things going as usual. What is going on, Joe? Other Joe, I'll call it.
It feels good to be a Joe. It's nice in the life of the Joes over here. Now, it feels good. I was telling you, it's a stress-free weekend. You know, football didn't add to my stress level, which I feel like every weekend it does. So that was nice. We got to watch some other teams. We got to watch the Super Bowl this weekend. I don't think anybody realized that was going on. So it's always nice to see the Super Bowl happen midway through this. Maybe it's like that in-season tournament that NBA does. Maybe that's what the Cowboys are playing right now. But either way, it's been good. It's been good. How you been, brother?
I'm good, man. So we decided to do the stream a little earlier today. I didn't really put out any news. I really don't put news on personal stuff, but tomorrow my father's getting some serious surgery done, and it's going to be a long day tomorrow. So when Joe texted me, hey, we can do it earlier. I was like, yes. I was like, thank God. I still would have done it at 10:30 regardless. Doesn't matter. But yeah, so that's going on. So I've been really stressed out the past week, but really since we got closer to it's been kind of crazy. So, but to get into the bye week in general, let me just say hi to everybody in the chat. We got Stiegel fan, what's going on? We got Eagles fan, what's up? Matthew Schramm, Bang Bang, Bird Gang, Triggers. We got Joshua, we got Matt, we got Jonah. What's going on, dude? So after last week, when we got into the bye week, okay, what were you thinking about going to the bye week that, maybe the Eagles are going to do, or maybe it's a move, maybe it's from the coordinator perspective of what do you think the Eagles need to change getting out of this, or really hopefully what they got out of getting into this bye week?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as the Eagles, we're 8-1, and I know every week I feel like everybody's like, "Oh, well, you guys are 8-1. What are you complaining about?" But I think that's what we are in Philadelphia, right? We're fans that look at what's going to happen, not necessarily what has happened. We got to look at, the teams that we're going against. So, me personally, it was just getting healthy. That was a huge part of it. But also kind of looking at this defense and seeing if you had the pieces in place to really, feel comfortable with the rest of the year. It seems like the Eagles do. It seems like they feel comfortable with who they have, I guess. No more, moves have really been made. So none big, at least. Obviously, we saw some guys come in for, tryouts. We've seen some movement on the practice squad, bringing in that center, but nothing like crazy, nothing, world shifting. So it feels like the Eagles are going to go into next week with their guys. We're going to see the same team. Again, I think now it's really just health. It really comes down to just getting as healthy as possible. We talked about it last week, possibly Jalen Hurts maybe finding a game where he can just kind of get healthy. Maybe it was a Kansas City game, and other people were talking about it too. So maybe we weren't so crazy, but I think that it really just comes down to health. I think that's all you can really get out of this week right now. You have the same players, another week of being able to kind of go back on the first 8 weeks and say, this is what worked, this is what didn't work. So especially defensively, I think offensively, we've gotten better almost every single week, but defensively, I think they needed this week outside of the health to really just kind of look at themselves and say, this is what's worked for us. This is what hasn't. So I'm hoping we come out with like a refined Philadelphia Eagles, like they kind of know who they are now. And I think that's always kind of been my struggle with them is I don't think they had an identity, every play or every drive. So that's what I'm hoping to see when they come back.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing, so you're getting some reinforcements back. You're getting, Bradley Roby back, which is huge for this nickel spot. This way you don't have to move Kevin Byard around because, Byard just hasn't been here long enough, and hopefully he settles in a little bit more. And with Roby coming back, it really, hopefully, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes towards the media, towards the fans. When Nick talks to us or whoever really talks to us, they seem like that there's no issues, that they feel like that, everything's going well and dandy. But behind the scenes, I wonder if they're maybe changing the game plan. And look, I don't with the defense really. I'm the first thing from my mind is this offense. Really, it is, because there's just little things they have to fix. But when it comes to the defense and obviously, guaranteeing your 4-man pass rush and seeing how you're moving these guys around the secondary, I just think there's got to be not a total rehaul, but like at least a little bit of a revamp with the secondary. And when people say our secondary sucks, I don't disagree at times because because they give up yards and they make quarterbacks look good, and it's just in their nature to do this every single game. I mean, I don't know, and I think we talked about it for every single week pretty damn much. Like, I don't know if the Eagles can win a championship with a defense like this if they don't make little specific changes. I think they should be shadowing Slay at times. Yeah, especially with Roby is back now, and you'll have Justin Evans back, get some more depth at safety, which is great. And kind of just see what happens there. I think that's the most important thing. Nakobe Dean's hurt for a third time now.
Yeah.
What is your reaction just to Nakobe Dean? Are they just better without him for this year? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, right now, how do I say it? I feel like Nakobe Dean has played, in my opinion, he's played well. I've said this before. I think that he's played well. If you look at what the defense is asking the linebackers to do right now, it just doesn't make sense. So I don't really hold him, 100% accountable for the things that are going wrong defensively. But at the same time, getting hurt again, being on IR for the second time this year, any other season, your season would be over. I think if I'm the Eagles, I'm looking at it like that. If we can get him back by playoffs or by the end of the season and have him as kind of a rotational depth piece, then I think that you have to kind of bite the bullet and do that. And then maybe next year in the draft, you're looking at a linebacker to kind of either pair with him or to be that guy, moving down the line. So it sucks. I love Dean. I really do like Nakobe Dean. I think that he is a really good player. He has really good attributes. I just don't think that defensively we've been doing the right. And you said it right. You got to kind of look at this team and maybe overhaul what your thought is with the players that you have. Maybe you don't have the players to run the certain type of schemes you want to run. Find out what's working and go from there, because there's way too many times I see linebackers in general, and at some point it's going to rear its ugly head on guys like Cunningham and guys like, Morrow. And it has already, just not to the extent that I think people are pulling out stuff with Nakobe Dean. Because to be honest with you, I don't think that Nakobe Dean has been nearly as bad as a lot of people make it out to seem. I think that he's been put in a lot of ishy situations, some really bad situations as far as coaching goes. And, he's not going to win though. That's like saying putting Fletcher Cox on some of these wide receivers. It just doesn't make sense. That's not what they're asked to do. I mean, maybe that's way different, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, right.
I think if you put Hassan Reddick on, who was it last week against Jalen Tolbert that I saw, I think it was Nicholas Morrow was on. Like, if you put Hassan Reddick, it's not going to get any better. If you put Nolan Smith, it's not going to get any better. So Nakobe Dean was sometimes a target. It might, sometimes it's Morrow, sometimes it's Cunningham. I think it is a staff issue. I don't think that it's a player thing. I think it's a staff issue. You got to understand that you don't have the personnel you think you have, or maybe you're just not scheming things up the way you think you are, because it just doesn't make sense to have some of the matchups that we're allowing on a consistent basis. It happened against the Vikings. It happened against Washington time and time again. It happened obviously against Dallas. So to me, it's the scheme. To me, it's Sean Desai. I like Sean Desai, and a lot of times he is doing good things. I like what I see, but the way he's utilizing these linebackers just doesn't make sense. I think if you go back to the Dolphins game, that was probably the best usage of these type of linebackers. Either you're going to send them and have them close to the line, or you're going to have them deeper than usual and playing the pass. But to ask them to say, all right, now line up outside. I know it's a 4 wide receiver set. Line up in the slot and go against their third guy. Like, that's not going to work. That's just not going to work. So I agree that Desai needs to figure out what his team is.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like the rumors that we heard about Patrick Surtain and the Eagles, and the 49ers were like, it looks like they were in a bidding war. And I think the Eagles, and from my perspective of the whole situation, yeah, the Eagles were in on Patrick Surtain, and obviously they were probably asking for too much. So the 49ers and the Eagles were going back and forth, probably right at the end where that time was going to end at 4:00 at the deadline. I think the Eagles made sure that nobody was going to get their hands on him. If the Eagles weren't getting him, nobody was going to get him.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. And then the whole Anthony Barr situation happened today where the Eagles worked him out, and then the Vikings waste no time and they signed him back. Now, he did play for Dallas last year, and obviously he has been playing for the Vikings for a while, for years. And, it looks like they're just trying to get depth. And they obviously need it, just in case, because who do you have behind Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow right now? I mean, there's really nobody with a lot of playing experience right now. So to get him would have been great. They couldn't get it done. You can't make any trades right now. And I don't even know he was actually available. So I don't know.
It'd be nice to have Rashaan Evans back, right? He asked to be released, even though he's with the Cowboys. I guess I shouldn't say that, but still, hey, it would have been nice to keep him on the roster. It does kind of suck, And then Anthony Barr would have been a decent, backup option. Obviously, he's not who he used to. But when you get to this point of the season, you're not going to get an all-pro guy. I mean, it's rare that happens, So everybody's going to have either question marks or issues, right? People are talking about Jack Jones. Jack Jones is an interesting guy. I doubt that the Eagles would bring him in here. I just don't think he's worth the headache right now. I think that there's a lot of mental stuff going on. I think he has legal cases as well. But probably not worth it right now, especially when you got a cornerback that's suspended for the year from gambling and stuff. So maybe not add 2 guys to that.
There's a lot of bodies at corner. I mean, there's just a lot of bodies, and adding another body is just what is it doing? What is it helping?
Maybe bring one of these safeties down. Maybe bring like or one of the cornerbacks. I mean, Kaylee Ringo's a big guy. Like, maybe give him a shot. Maybe, say cornerback doesn't really feel like his spot right now because of his head. I don't feel like he can turn his head. He doesn't play the ball. He plays the receiver very well. So, I mean, maybe go drop him down at linebacker. I know he's not the most willing tackler in the world, and that's kind of important at linebacker.
Yeah.
But if you're going to ask your linebackers to cover wide receiver 3s, 4s, and tight ends, maybe Kaylee Ringo is a better option there, than sometimes Morrow or sometimes, and again, it's, situational, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of answers. It really comes down to like, what's the best answer? What's the best situational, type of thing that you can do, and that's why I think that, Desai needs to just figure out who he has and how he can kind of make these puzzle pieces fit, because that's what it comes down to is you have players, you just got to put them in the right position. Now, this whole having a 5-man rotation at cornerback isn't really gonna.
No,
you can't do that all year. You cannot do that all year.
You can't keep a hot hand in the game. Like, even Justin Evans has played nickel in his career, so at least give it a shot. I mean, I don't know. Sidney Brown is like moving. They're forcing him to. I'm glad they're kind of making him a hybrid player now, which is good. So they have him at nickel corner at times when it comes to certain dime packages, and we're using Eli Ricks from the man-on-man stuff. But just because Sidney Brown's playing nickel from safety, it doesn't mean he's going to be good at both those positions. But, for right now, for his rookie year, to learn both is definitely going to be a lot of value moving forward to see if he could get better. So it's really, the scheme is bothering me over any of these players. Like, players are players. They're playing the scheme. They're put in these positions. Even at the end of the Cowboys game, when the Eagles versus the Cowboys, and Slay, on the NFL films, on the mic'd up, you went to Sean Desai and was like, if CD goes in the slot, I'm on number 88. Like that, like, I wonder if some of these, like, defensive backs are going to get tired of seeing this every single week. So I was really happy that Slay opened his mouth, said something like, dude, I don't give a shit now if it leaves the outside wide open. Like, I need to cover the best guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that might be what we needed. That really might be what we needed. Because if you look at 2017, right, the Eagles refused to run the ball, and our, leadership team that we got, the leadership committee, whatever the heck they're called. Maybe he's the guy that goes in there, and can, maybe this is what we needed. Maybe somebody needed to kind of talk up and get these guys going, and listen to the players. I think that Sirianni will do that. So maybe this is what we needed. Hopefully this is what we needed, and they figure something out from that. They got 2 weeks to figure it out. This is a long bye. This is about as long of a bye as you can get. So.
Now, Blake Hart says, why was Cunningham guarding Turpin last Sunday? That pissed me off. It was on the post, but thank God Dak's dumb didn't see Turpin wide open. He missed a couple guys. Brandon Cooks was open on the Shoemaker, the 4th down play at the goal line, wide open. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, we're leaving guys. The matchups are god-awful. And if you're going into KC with Travis Kelce, it's all it's going to take is one play. It's going to take one play to get to the other side of the field. It's all it's going to take. You know what I mean? So it's trust me, it's annoying every week. We're winning. I mean, I don't know how. Well, I do know how. It's because of this offense. This offense is putting points on the board, and our fourth quarter defense has just been great when it comes to that defensive line. I mean, Josh Sweat. 50 pressures and 6.5 sacks. Hassan Reddick is, 6.5 sacks for the year. I mean,
something around there, yeah,
just fantastic. Like these guys are pulling it together at the end of the game. I mean, I thought this team was resilient, but that team against the Cowboys was very resilient. I mean, every opportunity to lose that game, and to win that game at the same time, and they were able to pull it off. So.
But I did say that was how we had to win the game. That was basically the game plan we had. We were going to give up yards to them. We were going to give up points to them. That was going to happen. It was about how you let them score points. We didn't let them get big play. We did it every now and then, but we made them drive the field. We made them score in the red zone. And that's how you beat a team like that. And honestly, that's how you beat a team like Kansas City too. Kansas City, outside of Travis Kelce, does not have much on offense. They got a good running back. Pacheco's not terrible, but at the end of the day, they don't really have much in the wide receiver room. So that's really what you got to do with them. Don't let them go over top with you with a guy like, McCole or Kadarius Toney, and you'll be fine.
I'm going to ask you this, okay? Like, is there a little bit more fire behind this game? Because it is a Super Bowl rematch, but do you think there is some unfinished? Well, and I understand, like, this isn't a Super Bowl rematch. This is a regular season rematch. Okay, so I obviously get it. But within Jalen Hurts and the rest of this team, do you think there's something they're on fire a little bit? Like this isn't a team we played in the Super Bowl 5 years ago. This is literally from this past year. You know what I mean? So is there a little bit of fire with this team? Are they going to go in a little pissed off?
I think they will. I don't think, I think it's controlled rage with this team. Like, I think it's, some teams get like kind of like the, Cowboys. I hate to keep bringing them up, but you look at the Cowboys, they kind of overhype themselves for games. And we see what happens with games like the 49ers where they just don't show up. But like sometimes they overdo it and make a situation, make a situation bigger than it is. I don't think the Eagles will do that, but I do think that they understand this will probably be a nice confidence boost if they can go out there and win this game how they think they can win this game. I think that it'll help them for the rest of the season, but I don't think that they're making it too big of a deal. I really don't. And that's why I wouldn't be surprised if you see we play it a little close to the vest, because we can't get people hurt right now. Like, we got to start kind of thinking about the next step, because I know it's only 8 wins, but we only really need like 4 or 5 more wins, and we're in probably first place of the NFC. So to me, it's like you got to start thinking about that. You got to realistically look at the games you're playing and realize that every single game doesn't have to be a win at this point. Maybe it's smarter to start getting some of your guys, healthier, maybe start rotating some guys in. So you might not see it in the like cutthroat type of way where they're like, oh, we're going all out 100. Maybe you will though. I really don't know. With this team, I feel like you get surprised with what they do, but I think that some of the players will definitely be hyped for it, but I don't think it'll get in the way of them understanding what the mission is. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. Jose Serrano, what's going on, man? He says, y'all think the bye week someone got in DC's ear and let him know to get it together? Dude, do you believe that this is Sirianni's defense? That do you think, like, even finding out more news about this defense and like did this team really go to full lengths on getting a DC that was going to bring their own type of defense into this team? Or do you think like Sirianni, because the news is the Sirianni wanted the same defense as last year, the last 2 years, and found the best coach for that scheme. I don't know if you believe any of that or whatnot, or what you've heard, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, Sirianni said it like himself right before he was going to hire a guy that he was looking for similar what was the word he was using? Similar principles, I think is what he said. Like there's certain things in the defense that he wants to see. So I mean, yeah, I do believe that he has a big hand in what Sean Desai runs, but maybe not to the X's and O's, maybe more of just like a make these guys run the length of the field type defense. Don't let nothing get over your top of you. You know, some principles like that, you know, keep things in front of you. Don't be too overly aggressive. I can see him saying that, but I also think that he kind of gives him the anatomy to kind of make his defense what they are, because it is different. Like this is a different defense from last year. A lot of the things that we may do as far as coverage, that's probably very similar, but at the same time, we are sending a little bit more pressure and a little bit more exotic pressure. So, you know, it is a lot of the same principles that we ran on last year, but there are small differences, you know.
Yeah, Sticks94 says that with Super Chat. Thank you so much. Says Andy scares me calling off the bye. No, I get it. I mean, guy knows
23-3 or 24-3, something like that. After the bye, he's no joke after the bye.
Yeah, I mean that's like you get all this rest, and like it's a lot of time to study the other opponent and to get your guys ready, and hopefully that's going to be the case in KC. You know, it's going to be a tough one. I don't think KC is the same like they were last year, just like I don't think the Eagles are the same like they were last year. I think we can all agree on that. You know, they've had a defensive coordinator in the building since 2019. 5 years to have a DC. Like that's I mean, we can't even keep coaches in the building with just a little bit of success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's tough keeping coaches in the building. I mean, for this team to be 8-1 right now, losing both your coordinators, it's pretty damn amazing, because a lot of teams don't do that, because usually head coaches change, players leave, you know, and sometimes like some teams just rebuild. You just never can have consistency. The Eagles tried that after 17. They weren't drafting well. They were restructuring older contracts. And you know, it caught up to us in the end, but for the better though, which is good. So I'm going to say this is that the Eagles have a huge chance to beat KC. And obviously Eric Bieniemy leaving KC was a huge loss. Yeah. I mean, Matt Nagy's got nothing on Eric Bieniemy. Look what he's doing in Washington. Now, Washington's season is done, but it's he knows how to run a damn offense, dude.
Yeah, Sam Howell's been looking good. So
Sam Howell gets our respect.
Yeah,
but we'll get to the other quarterbacks soon. You know, so it's gonna be a tough matchup. But I think what's really holding on to KC is that defense gives pressure. That defense will come after you. I think we match up pretty well. Getting Cam Jurgens back is going to be great. You know, because even to switch to the defense really quick. Did you see the blitz rate numbers
for the whole season? Or
yeah.
No, I have not.
The blitz rate numbers, I'm trying to remember because I just had it in my head and I totally forgot, but they're almost the same. I think by 0.6, 0.7 points, Desai is a little bit better than Gannon from all of last year. So technically, the blitz rate will be better this year, but by how much, I don't know. You know, it's in the 23 percentile right now between both defenses from these last two, from this year to last year.
I know we got like one more sack than we did last year at this time. So it looks very similar, but it's totally different. It's weird. You know, it's really weird how it's working out because it feels totally different. I mean, obviously, like I said, some of the stuff that they do in the back end is very similar, but at the same time, it feels different. The way that they're utilizing the linebackers, the way that they're stunting a lot more at the line. It looks a lot more inventive, but I think it's kind of like having an old bike and just kind of repainting it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like he has to use the same bike. That's what the philosophy is. That's what the principles are. But he's kind of spray painted his own little, graffiti on it. So I don't know. Hopefully it just evolves. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, totally agree. Donnell Shipley with a super chat. Thank you so much, Bay. Says, knowing what we know about Pax Surtain, you think we go after him in the offseason?
I mean, if they really want to trade him, I would give up whatever they want. Whatever you want, we can figure this out. Let's talk about it. Where do you want to start? I mean, but I don't think they really want to trade him. I think if they wanted to trade him, they could have got rid of him this year. Is he a free agent after this year?
Yeah, I thought it was the last year of his deal. That's what I thought.
If this is his last year and he doesn't want to re-sign, then that would be insane. But I doubt that. I doubt that we get him, but I would love for it. I would love for that to happen. I think it was one of those things that everybody knew Denver was, on a whole yard sale, and people just started throwing little offers. I don't think Surtain was ever going to move. They would have been really stupid to move Surtain.
Yeah, if that's their best player on their roster.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically it is. Yeah, so he's on contract for another year.
That's right.
His cap number for next year is 6.6. I mean, that's fine.
Maybe next year during the season. Maybe
but if you're trading for him, you're trading for him to obviously be the future. I mean, that's I mean, are you trading for him to sit behind Slay and Bradbury for another year?
I would trade one of them. I would trade one of them for him. I'd be like, I think Slay's contract is expiring or Bradbury's. I'll be like, listen, take this dude a first and maybe like a third or a fourth, something like that. You got a guy that, you could rock with for a year, kind of teach your younger guys, and you got your picks, and we got our future at cornerback. We cool with that.
Yeah.
I would do that.
I think Slay's a free agent after next year, and then Bradbury has 2 more years. So really it's like they got to get, you're going to be down 2 cornerbacks real soon in a matter of 3 years.
Yeah. And all these young dudes that you're putting in there. I mean, I like Eli Ricks. I think Josh Jobe has a future in the NFL. I don't know what he'll be. I'm not going to say he's going to be great, but I wouldn't say he's going to be bad either. I think he could be pretty good in the league. But beyond that, Mario Goodrich didn't really look that good when he played. Kaylee Ringo, I don't know how long it's going to take him to be like a legitimate quarterback in this league, if that's what you want him to be. So, I mean, outside of Eli Ricks, Josh Jobe, who's old boy that got suspended for gambling? He should be good for us too. I can't remember his name.
Who? Rodgers?
Yeah, Isaiah Rodgers. He should be good for us. But outside of that, who do you really have?
The good thing about the secondary right now, as much as the scheme sucks, like the good thing is a lot of guys are getting reps. Like guys so God forbid an injury happens either this season or whatever down in the future. Like if somebody needs to step up, like they've been in these situations before where they have to play in a game and they're not like, oh my God. And, like Josh Jobe is saying, like, as much as I can't put too much on their play because, even if they weren't that great, like it's still very early for some of these guys that are going to get, opportunities. Maddox, I don't see him being here. I don't know if they take on a $10 million cap hit next year. Are they going to extend him? Like, I mean, he's a total liability.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. I mean, but that shows who we are now. That shows like if we're going to be the same team that we were in 2017, or are we going to learn from our mistakes and cut ties with guys that we need to cut ties with? I'm not saying you have to cut ties with Maddox, but you can't go into the next season paying him $10 million cap hit to not know if he's going to be able to play the whole season. Even if you got guys that you feel like, even if you go into next year, like, yeah, we want to rock out with Maddox because we know we got Isaiah and, worst come to worst, we can always put him in there. We're good. I mean, that's still like, you're really going to pay somebody $10 million to hopefully stay healthy. And he hasn't shown us that he can. So even if you just rework that contract, I would be okay with that.
If they have if they reworked his contract and they had like an essential backup plan for him, then I'll be fine with it. Because I think like Maddox is one of the most and he's a top 5 nickel. I mean, he is. I was on getting Kenny Moore from the Colts badly. I was on that train before getting anybody on the defensive line or getting a free agent defensive lineman or something like that. I was really into getting him, but at the same time, we get into our next thing here. King's been a member for 9 months. Thank you so much, man. He says we have talent, but what's the point if coaches suck? And that's been like how long can you drive this, this coaching staff of this defense, this specific defense? I'm not saying sometimes the most highest blitzing teams are not the most successful at times. Just because you don't blitz enough, I just don't think they're doing enough of it. And I don't think you're getting the best out of the guys that you're paying. Like, you're paying these guys to cover, do their job. The defensive line I have no issue with, but if your pass rush is not going to hit home because everything is just wide open, like literally 3-4 yards off the ball, like instantly, it's tough to play defense. It's just tough to defend. Like, I don't know what you're supposed to do in those situations. And then I think it's worse. I think when the Eagles score more points in games and they're in a 2-score lead, they play conservative, and then they're even more conservative, and they want to keep the time of possession and let more clock, kind of roll down. And I hate that. Like, we were promised a lot more than what we were given right now. And there's just certain games where I'm not saying the defense has to be perfect. They're gonna get some throws on them. It's just gonna happen. But you go from like a Miami game that you're just like soaring up perfectly, like great defense, and then you just take a shit the next week, next 2 weeks. Really, Washington take a shit against Dallas. I mean, hyping up CeeDee Lamb 191 yards against 2 rookies. I mean, I would expect him to get that with no touchdown, surprisingly. You can't move Slay to the inside, because if you do that, then you'd rather have your nickel, you'd rather have the inside wide receiver position wide open at that point than the outside, because you're going to give up a more easier play on the outside over the top than you would be in the slot. But it's tough, man.
I feel like this team needs to figure out what the hell they're at. And I've said this like 10, 15 times over the past week and a half. And people are telling, oh, you need to be more positive about this team. It's the truth. They need to figure out who they are. Like, you're either on the offense, you're living and dying by Jalen Hurts. I think that, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, that's what you're living and dying by. I think that all Eagles fans understand we don't want to run the ball. We will do it, and we what I'm saying? We will do it when we have to, when we want to like slow the game down, when we finally have a nice little lead. That's when we'll start running the ball, and we'll start trying to, slow down the pace of the game and everything. Agree or disagree with it, whatever it is, that's who we are. That's just offensively who we are. But defensively, I can't say I went into a game and was like, this is what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? Every game, it feels like we're going to do something differently because we don't know what we're good at. It's either trust your front seven or trust your back seven. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Like, either trust your front four and your linebackers, or trust your linebackers and your safeties and cornerbacks. Like, you got to choose. You got to choose who you are. You can't be both. You can't be like, oh, well, one play we'll do this, one play we'll do that. Like, yeah, you got to be different every now and then. But at the end of the day, have a type of identity, because we don't have that. Defensively, I mean, run defense, you can't run it on us, but nobody wants to run it on us. So we're usually scoring a lot of points. They don't need to run it on us. So, they just pass the ball the heck out of us, and it works. It works every single time. So I don't know. I personally think if I was them, I would keep all your guys back. I would literally keep 7 back and just blitz 4. No, not blitz 4, but just, rush 4. Rush 4, do a bunch of stunts. That's really I would never blitz more than 5, because you don't have the guys on the back end.
No.
So, I mean, and you can win that way. You can realistically win that way. Switch up target who the main guy is, right? You look at the Cowboys game, that was the last game. That's why I'm going to bring it up. But you bring up CeeDee Lamb. You target, okay, they want to get the ball to CeeDee Lamb. Let's not make that happen. You know what I'm saying? We're going all out. Make sure wherever CeeDee Lamb is, that part of the field is covered well. And the rest of it, we're going to hope that our defensive line can get to him before he gets to his second, third read. And I'd rather lose that way. I'm going to be real with you. I'd rather lose that way, that you're at least saying, hey, these guys aren't going to kill us, And I feel like they did that against the Dolphins. I feel like they were like, we're going to take away what you like to do. And we're not going to, send all of our linebackers at you all willy-nilly. We're going to keep them back a little bit, let them cover the deep, intermediate part of the field, and don't ask them to cover people, ask them to cover space. And they can do that. They can probably do that. But this whole lining guys up wide with running backs and wide receiver threes, that's not going to work. That is not going to work. So figure out who you're going to be. either trust your front seven or trust your back seven. You got to pick one to side. You got to pick one.
I thought Miami was perfect because I felt like they
Was.
contained, like they weren't just going in for tackles. They would contain, wait for some teammates to show up, and then start taking your angles on making tackles. That's why they did such a great job. Kept Tyreek Hill to 88 yards, whatever it was, in that game. The King of Kings, the super chat. Thank you so much. He says exactly. We need 2 blitzes more. Why aren't we blitzing? Yeah, I like Joe said. Like you can only afford what you can afford to do because of the scheme that you're playing. Like it's just. I understand why they don't do it at times because, but if it's like 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and you're just still rushing with not even 5, just 4 on the 4-man pass rush and really just calculating on that, 3rd and 15, they get 14 yards. It's like, dude, you can't even hold them to 5. You can't even hold them to 6. It's like, dude.
And it feels like they try to like confuse the opposing team. You know what I mean? They look like they're in zone, but they're going to blitz. So it's really man. But by the time you run up to this wide receiver, you already like 5-10 yards behind it. It ain't going to work. You're giving them easy completions, and people get into rhythm against us so easily. That's what pisses me off the most is that it starts off easy as hell for them. I feel like defensively, we're just like, if you want to throw the ball here, you can. You can't run the ball. That we're not going to let you do that. You can't run the ball. You can't go too far deep. But if you want to throw the ball 5 to 10 yards every play, we're going to let you do that. And it just doesn't make sense.
Joe, the Eagles are the worst. So the number 1 team right now are the Philadelphia Eagles opposition of quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are number 1 against our defense of what they want to do to us, which is passing the ball from like 71 to 73%. Most NFL teams that we're facing every week that scout us out, they want to throw the ball. They have thrown the ball more on us. Obviously, it's nothing different. I don't want to talk about this every fucking week because I'm tired of it. Okay, I'm tired of this shit. We should be talking about like, I don't know, like number 1 seed playoffs more than this other shit. Because
I want to complain about the offense. Let me complain about the offense for a little bit. Like, damn, defense. You're being so greedy. Like, let me complain about that. I want to see them run motions. You know what I mean? Like, imagine this offense. Because I was watching. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I was watching the Dolphins versus Kansas City game like a week ago, and I was just like, bro, I wish we were just this creative. Like, not all the time, obviously, but like every now and then, just have Devontae Smith running, a nice little what's it called, motion that turns into a nice little. I don't know, do something. Like they do the craziest stuff with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And I look at that and I'm like, we could do something.
We have no creativity. The most creativity we had in that Cowboys game was literally like they had Gainwell at that motion with Swift to, that went from the left to the right side, that little toss hand thing that was just like, oh shit. When you notice a new play with BrianJohnson, you fucking notice in like 2 seconds. You're like, holy shit, this is like something I've never seen, and do more of this shit. And we just don't. And sometimes we look very vanilla, very plain, and teams just figure it out. 3rd and 5. I go back to this fucking play because I just can't stand it. 3rd and 5. You take after an 8-yard run by DeAndre Swift, you put in Gainwell because really between the 20s, if they sub Gainwell in, it's 100% mostly a pass. Yeah. Most of the time, 20, from the goal line to the 20. Okay, you could confuse them a little bit because Gainwell does, get the ball sometimes as well. But they made it look so obvious, throwing daggers where you could be wasting more time in these quarters. They could have put the Cowboys away a lot earlier in that game, dude. I mean, Jalen Hurts.
The Washington game too.
Yeah.
They wanted to throw that bomb. I mean, it's just situational awareness is definitely not one of our strong suits sometimes. It sucks because it's like it doesn't suck because I was going to say it sucks because we're winning. It's amazing to keep winning. I love it. It is the best feeling in the world. But the one part of winning that sucks is that a lot of this stuff gets refuted with, oh, but we're winning. Why complain? Like, because this is not going to work every single week. Like the Cowboys suck. They, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. We can make mistakes with them. A lot of these other teams, they make mistakes. We can make mistakes with them. The Dolphins, I don't know who that was defensively, but I want them back. Like, I want to see us be close to perfect, at least like once. I just want to see a perfect game from this team once to be like, that's what we can be. Okay, that's what we can be.
I want to watch a game where like I can literally just get up, go take a piss, and come back and be like totally fine. Like I can grab a sandwich, I could whatever. Like and I know every game is not going to be like that. That's why like this team is like scratching and clawing in these nail biting games every single week. Like it's just been. King of Kings, the super chat says that's all true, but we're making it too easy. And another super chat from King of Kings says, I love our offense, but they make us look bad on D. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I'm watching close hand on what they're doing with Rashad Penny. I'm telling you right now, like I'm watching to see when they're going to unleash him. I know they only unleashed him for 2 snaps against the Cowboys in the second half was because Jalen Hurts was hurt and they just want to give just a little bit more support.
I'm sorry, but when Penny went in, and it's funny because I see other people saying like, yeah, whenever I see a new play, I call it. When Penny went in, it was like, holy snap! Oh, we got a new player. Hold up! I never seen that. Or even when they have 2 running back sets, it's like, I never knew you could do this. Hold up, you guys know how to do this? Like, yeah, just. Be a little creative.
Yeah, I literally said that moment. I was like, holy shit, number 23 is on the field. I am literally shitting my pants as we speak.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a moment for like all Eagles fans. Like, we finally, and then he gets taken right back out.
It's like yeah, you had enough. You
guys like that? You guys like that? All right, come back off the field.
I mean, I think they've been using Swift a little tiny bit more, and I still don't think it's enough. I don't know, because Swift is just different. He's just different. And
I think the game before the Cowboys game, the Washington game, I think Kenny Gainwell had like 14 snaps. It said on the thing, and it felt like so many more. When I read that, I was like, "There's no way he only had 14 snaps." Like they are lying to me.
They're hiding.
I felt like he was on the field the whole game. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy how I don't know. It's like I guess when you're having a good time, time goes fast, right? But like, I guess when Kenny Gainwell is out there, it is not a fun time because it feels like 3 plays at once every time he's out there. I feel like we just go through a whole 3 and out every time he has one play in a series. It just annoys the hell out of me. But it's weird. When I saw that he was only out there for 14 plays, I was like, this is crazy.
I've never been through a season where you're literally 8-1 and it doesn't even feel like we're 8-1.
It doesn't. It feels like we lost not like it feels like we are 8-1. Like I think me and you both can agree that we know this is a good team. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
But at the same time, it feels like you leave every game and you're like, all right, at least we've said at least at the end of every single game. We're like, at least that was a win. Like literally almost every single game. I can't remember a game other than maybe the Dolphins game that I was like, hey, we went out there and bust their ass. Every single game, I'm like, yo, at least we won. We got some things to clean up, but at least we won. It's like, hey, how long you going through? Now I know what the Vikings felt like last year, I guess.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We got 153 in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the stream if you guys have it. Check the link below, description below. Joe Castro of Philly the podcast. Go subscribe to his channel, and if you could click on his name in the title link to the video to the live stream as well, because I think that'll bring you to his channel as well. So definitely check out his stuff.
Oh, we fancy over here. We fancy. You got to click the title and stuff.
Well, I learned that because I watched some other streams, some video game streams. Somebody had like somebody's thing that he was working with somebody, and I was like, "Does that work?" And then I guess it works. So you could put at and then put the person's name that's connected to their YouTube channel in the title, so people just can click on that. So it's pretty good.
Now I know.
King of Kings super chat says, to be honest, Penny might be the secret weapon. Yet to be in red zone. God, I'm just tired of talking about this shit.
I am kind of scared that the Eagles think that they're that smart. That would be that would scare the hell out of me, because remember, we're like 4 or 5 years removed from everybody hating Howie and thinking he thought he was the smartest man in the room and nobody could tell him what to do. If this team is the type of team that thinks that they can hide players and, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, we don't need him, we'll be all right without him and then he blows up in the postseason or close to the end of the season, I promise you, if that man goes crazy and is like our leading rusher for the playoffs, I'm gonna be excited, but I'm gonna be pissed off. Like, y'all made me wait this long. Like, for what?
Yeah.
For what? What if we didn't make the playoffs?
But dude,
y'all would have just not used them.
Blake Hart said this, like, I don't know why we don't use Rashad Penny in like the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. Like, use him as a closer, dude. Tire out the defense with him. Like, he's so fresh right now. Like, how much he's waiting for this opportunity, and 2 snaps ain't no fucking opportunity. So
yeah,
give this guy more opportunity, man. It's now you're in the second half of the season now. Now it's like, now I'm gonna be on full, like, where's Penny? Every single snap. Like, no joke.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him Ziploc Penny. Ziploc Penny, because he's fresh. He about as fresh comes right now. That man ain't seen no work. So yeah, I agree. I mean, and it's not even, I don't know if Penny's gonna be that good. I'm gonna be real with you. But try him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, bro, they did more than Ziploc him. They Ziplocked him and fucking did the Ziploc vacuum. Like, they've Ziploc vacuumed him, so nothing, not even a fly or a piece of dust from the thin air can get near him. That's what they've done to him so far.
They have, and you know, it is what it is. And then we saw, talking about running backs, I know that we saw Boston Scott was injured not injured, but he was out for personal reasons. I didn't want to know before, but now I do want to know, because he was just at a fashion show, modeling at a fashion show. So what was your personal reasons, dog? He was modeling. I don't. Hey, go get your money, big dog. Boston, you my dog. You my guy. He did a shout out for the show and everything. Got nothing but love for him. But if that's the personal reason why you sat out of the Dallas Cowboys game, we gonna have to talk, bro. We gonna have to talk. I mean, I don't need exact, details of what happened. Just let me know it wasn't that. That's really all I want to know.
What's the video game he plays? That video game he's like a pro at. What the hell is it called?
Is it Call of Duty or no?
No, it's that
game where you like play soccer with the cars.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. What the fuck is it called? What is it called, chat? The soccer ball game with the cars. What is it called? Shit.
I know exactly what it is too.
I forgot.
Now somebody has to tell
somebody
us.
will know. Somebody's gonna know.
Somebody has to tell us, because now it's gonna mess with us all night. Right?
What are you guys talking about? No, he's like a pro. He's like a pro. Yeah, Rocket League.
There we go. Shout out to the chat. Yeah.
Soccer ball with the cars. That's horrible. Soccer ball with the cars.
We showing our age, Joe. We showing our age, bro. But yeah, I mean, I hope it wasn't nothing like that. Like, I obviously don't. I do want to know. I can't keep lying and act like I don't want to know. But I want to know, like, the smallest of detail. Just be like, hey, Joe, it wasn't.
So what if he did? What if he actually skipped practice for, like, modeling?
Do you have to, like, practice for that? Do you have to, like, rehearse? Is that what
you walk down a stage 10 feet and you turn around? That's it. That's all you do. And pose.
I used to be a hand model, so we didn't have to write. No, I'm just kidding. I've never been a hand model. That would be dope, though. I feel like that would be a really easy job. But yeah, I just saw that and I was like, I hope that's not why he sat out of the Cowboys game. But I guess
no, I mean, and Boston Scott's a whole nother deal too, because I feel like he's more effective in red zone too with his size, and he's sneaky. Like, you can't see him behind this line. He could surprise defenses where he's going to, hit the hole, whatever. I mean, he could do so much. We've seen it before. Instead of just being swift and Gainwell, which I think is just a total waste at times, I think Boston Scott should be heavily involved. I mean, running east and west with Boston Scott, you can run him inside too. It doesn't really matter. He's got that big lower body. He can push guys. He's physical, but he can cut on a dime. Like, he runs to the left, he's going to cut you up, and that's what he does perfectly. And I think they should definitely, use him. And
he's like an all-purpose guy. I think he's like, maybe not to the same skill set as a Darren Sproles or Brian Westbrook, but along the same family. I feel like he could do a lot of the things that they did. So I hate to keep talking about Kenny Gainwell, but I would like to see him get more touches than Kenny Gainwell right now.
Don't be sorry.
Get better.
I think people are starting to change now, because like 4 or 5 games in, people are like, dude, like, Kenny G's the man, but nah, dude. Like, I think he's good, but
I just broke a glass box. Can't give me stuff, man. I'm telling you cannot give me stuff.
Hold on. So, formerly known as JoJo FC says, what are the Eagles going to look like with Goddard out? That's a concern. Now, first of all, do you think that was a dirty play?
Yeah, I do a little bit. I mean, it's just because it was Marquise Bell. I'm pretty sure it was Marquise Bell that did it. And if you look at his history in college, I'm pretty sure he got kicked off his first college team for doing some funny stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised. He has a little bit of a history of it, but the way it looked just looked real funny. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I've tackled people. I've played football. You know,
Yeah,
obviously
he
nothing like
did
tackling
everything but
someone.
Hannibal Lecter that fucking arm. He did
He really
everything.
did.
Yeah,
It was, yeah, it looked pretty bad. It looked pretty bad. But Goddard-less offense is probably going to look a lot the same, to be honest, because right now we haven't really been asking a lot from Goddard. Outside of the last couple of games, he has been involved early a little bit more. But I think that you're going to see a lot more passes to Julio Jones. I think Julio Jones will be asked to work maybe the slot a little bit, maybe work inside routes a little bit, and kind of do what Goddard did. They both got big bodies. And maybe more run game, more 12 personnel, and more, kind of obvious situations. Because with Dallas Goddard, you can be in a run type look and still get a
right.
good pass play out of it. With, no offense to Jack Stoll or Grant Calcaterra, but it's a little bit tougher to do that with those guys. So I think that you'll get more obvious run plays, and they'll just run in those obvious run plays. And so maybe you'll see a little bit more out of DeAndre Swift, maybe a little bit more out of that 2 running back set. So I think it's going to be a mixed bag, right? You're going to see everybody kind of step up just a little bit more. But the good and bad thing is that we haven't really been asking Dallas Goddard to win us games right now. So
Yeah. And I think another one that, and I don't know if he's coming back this week. I think after KC, the week after, he's coming back. Now, Quez Watkins was on his IG like a few days ago and put out like a little video of like his cleat saying soon. Do you think there's like a trust factor between Jalen Hurts and Quez Watkins? And it really showed in that Rams game when Quez was wide open in the end zone. If you really didn't see him, or they rather throw to Devontae Smith in traffic, as small as he is. They'd rather throw to AJ Brown with 3 guys around him because that's been the favorable matchup this year. Do you think that once Quez is back, that he will get his starting chance? He'll start immediately and get his starting opportunity again?
Yeah, I think he wasn't playing that much to begin with, and that was always kind of my, my defense. And you look at Olamide, it's not like Olamide is playing a crazy amount of snaps with him gone. So I do think that he'll be fine. He'll be back in that lineup, and I think that he's trusted. It's hard for any quarterback to get to his 3rd read. Furthermore, probably his 4th or 5th read in those type of situations. And then furthermore, in the goal line situation, to ask anybody to do that is really hard. So I don't really read too much into him missing, Quez a couple times. I don't read too much into all that. I think that he does have, he has his trust. He knows what his role in this offense is. It's far diminished from what he was a couple years ago, obviously. But I think he'll be fine. I really don't. If he's playing, it's because the offense trusts him, and that's what it comes down to. Is if your guys trust you, then you're good. And I think that he's fine. I really do. I think that if anything, that injury might have helped.
Yeah, he's a burner, man. He can get separation, It's just really consistency. And you're right about, Zacchaeus, man. They threw to him twice this past week. I mean, against the Cowboys, they had one catch the first series for a first down. I think they threw to him on I don't know, the connection wasn't great between them two on one of the passes we were down our end zone or something like that. Yeah, he hasn't really played a good game since Tampa.
Yeah. And I was trying to tell people, Joey. Everybody wanted to talk junk about my boy Quez. That's my boy. Everybody wanted to talk junk about my boy Quez. The 3rd, 4th, 5th option in this offense is not going to get much shine. So it is what it is. We got to just be happy that our 3rd, 4th option. I mean, Quez Watkins would be a solid number 2 on a lot of teams. Maybe not every, but he would be a good solid option for a lot of teams. Same thing with Julio. Julio would add something to a lot of offenses. Those are like our 5th, 6th options right now. So I mean, we're blessed in that situation. I just want to see more creativity on offense.
BrianJohnson. It's BrianJohnson, dude. It's like that's the final piece to both of these sides of the ball. Like the defense and the offense. Like that's where I don't question the roster. I'm questioning the coaching. At least with Jim Schwartz, he was creative with blitzes and you know what I mean? Like he had his favorite players. He had his favorites at times and didn't know how to use linebackers at times. And, but he knew how to draw up pressure. And that's what look what the Browns are doing, bro. I mean, look at the Browns, man.
They look good. And they got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, if I'm not mistaken.
I tried saying that name and I don't blame you looking down because
I had to think of it. I had to put it in my mind. But no,
Howard
if he's still over there, he was a dog. I miss him. I wanted him for the Eagles. But no, I look. Somebody in the comments said earlier, they were like, do I think that, or do we think that, Jalen Hurts' second year under BrianJohnson will be better? I think we're past that in Jalen Hurts' career. Like,
he's
I
playing
think
better than last year.
Yeah, I think that if you come into there as a offensive coordinator, you have to know you have to get the best out of Jalen Hurts, and you should have a blueprint for that. So with Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen, it was like you don't really have a blueprint for what's going to work for Jalen Hurts. So I understood him getting better in year 2. Here, you know what he is, especially BrianJohnson. BrianJohnson changed the boys' diapers and stuff the way that they were talking about it. So, like, who knows him better than BrianJohnson? BrianJohnson was taking his mom to the, country fair and stuff. Like, they know each other. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you have to know what your quarterback's good at. You have to know what your guy is good at. And so I don't really maybe I should give BrianJohnson a little bit of, slack in the sense that this is his first year, but it's hard for me too, because he was on the team last year. He saw what worked for this team last year. He saw what worked for Jalen. I'll say that, Jalen being injured probably derailed some of that, right? You can't do everything you want to do, but if the first couple games were any indication, I'm glad Jalen Hurts can't run as much as you want him to, because we would be running freaking QB draws on 3rd and 9 every other play. So I don't know. It's hard for me to really give him slack.
You're beating teams without the best element of Jalen Hurts, which is his run game. And that's why it's amazing. Some injuries are a blessing in disguise. Not that we want the injury to happen, but since he has been forced in the slot, since he's been forced, in the pocket and being a pure pocket passer at times, and we'll run at certain times too when he really has to, and not take the unnecessary hits and get the yards that he has to get, and sliding a lot more. Now it's really showed he takes his shots, and sometimes he'll audible out of plays and see something else that he really wants, whether it's man-on-man coverage with Devontae Smith or be an A.J. Brown matchup that he really likes. And I like the chemistry there. I like that they do take shots downfield, as much as sometimes it doesn't make sense. I like that they sacrifice, they'll take shots, even though they're probably not at the best moments where we really have to waste more time. And kind of, we can really waste a lot of time in these quarters while we have leads. But Jalen Hurts has been the best quarterback when trailing in the league. I mean, this team has gone through adversity, I would say, every damn game. I mean, the more you do that, the stronger this team looks. We may as fans not want it this perfect. We may not sit back and say, oh man, we'll have shit to complain about. There's always stuff to complain about every single week, but it's a resilient team that fights. I don't see this team getting blown out 40-something points. I don't, unless they just totally give up. I don't see this team getting blown out by any team.
Yeah, I don't see them giving up. To your point, I don't see them giving up. They just don't feel like a team that could ever just be like, all right, well, we're down 20. Like, there's nothing else we can do, I don't really see that in this team. I see this team. Yeah, I think they're going to fight down to the very last game, to the very last play. This is going to be an interesting season. I think Dank might have said it, that it's kind of impressive that Nathan said that crazy we're 8-1 during these growing pains. It's true. We're still figuring out who we are. Maybe we're being a little bit too harsh on certain people, certain players, certain staff members, but the bar has changed, right? The bar has changed. We're no longer saying let's just have a good year. 3 years ago, we were talking about let's have a good year, maybe win a playoff game. Even last year. Going into last year, we were saying, let's have a good year, maybe win another playoff game, maybe win 2 playoff games, and grow from there. Now we need to win a Super Bowl. We know we got the players, we got the team in place. So that's the bar. That's what we expect. That's exactly what we expect. So everything from there on is going to be tied to that. Like, if you have a good game, we'll look at it and say, okay, you had a good game. How would that go up against teams that we know we're going to have to face in the playoffs? How, and a lot of teams don't have that. A lot of fan bases don't have that. They don't realize the importance of the game inside the game. People want to bring up, yeah, we might have lost, but this happened. Look at that happened, but look at that. Doesn't matter. If you're not finding ways to win, it's a lost cause. So it's a lot easier to digest the negativities or the negatives of your team when you're winning. So we're in a really, really good spot. So keep on learning, keep on winning. And I said 13-4 before the year started. We might be better than that. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll get into the last two things here. We'll get into the number one seed, and we'll get into obviously the NFC East, and obviously some matchups from this past Sunday to really tonight. So, so the Dallas Cowboys, okay. Now they go into a game where we had the Cowboys winning that game. Okay, yeah. Danny DeVito, you get the whole gist. It's done. It's been done with New York for a while now. 49-17, running up the score, padded stats. The tweets that I was seeing after this game were absolutely disgusting. Just
Delusion.
It's crazy. Like Dak Prescott, this is his 10th game with 400 plus yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, it's crazy, dude, that you haven't beat. I mean, they haven't beat a good team this year, and this is what they are bad team beaters. They talk about our cupcake schedule from last year, and this next week, not even just this game, but they got to go face the Panthers, and then because they're undefeated in Dallas, they're undefeated at AT&T Stadium now. They're going to be facing the Philadelphia Eagles for the second time. What do you take from? What'd you take from yesterday?
I think Dallas fans are the cutest things on earth. I'd say that it's hilarious at this point, to be honest. It shows you how far gone they are. A lot of, even content creators that I got respect for, I got love for them and everything. They sound dumb right now. Like, you sound dumb right now. You promised that you wouldn't do this to yourselves. A lot of Cowboys fans would be like, oh, I'm not sipping the Kool-Aid. I'm not going to, until they show me something, we got to win in the playoffs. And then stuff like yesterday happens where you blow out the Giants, who everybody knew was probably going to happen. They're on their third string quarterback, right? But when we beat a third string quarterback in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. But either way, we knew you guys were going to go out there and supposed to win. But you guys are acting now like that was your path back to the Super Bowl. I saw people being like, oh, this shows how good we can be against bad teams. Like, I mean, this is what you do. Yeah, you put up numbers against the Eagles. You didn't win. We have a bad defense. That's been our weakness all year. We've been saying you're going to come in here and put up yards. You didn't win. They wanted to, and that's what kills me. It's like the conversation is never, what do we have to improve upon? Me and you are sitting here talking about what the Eagles need to improve upon after beating our division rivals, after going, being 8-1 going into the bye week. We're talking about what can we improve? How do we take that next step? Cowboys fans lose a game to their division rivals that sets them back, no matter how much they don't want to admit it, sets them back. And then right after that, you beat a cupcake team that you should have beat. And instead of, all right, we needed that win, let's get back to the drawing board, we need to fix this, they just throw all the stuff that was bad
stats
out the window.
Fucking stats, dude.
It doesn't matter anymore. None of that matters anymore. We might not trust Mike McCarthy, but now we do, because we just beat the Giants. Like, and that's the thing. There's no accountability, man. So that's why it's just like, you guys showed exactly who you are now. You know what I'm saying? There's no more talking to you guys. I said it before. I said it when I was on their final word, which I want to remake it. I'm going to do the final bird, and we're going to get a bunch of Eagles creators and just redo their own thing and just make fun of the Cowboys all day. But anyways, I said it on their show. I was like, you guys don't have anything to talk to us about anymore, because now we're the bar. You guys can talk about the past. You can talk about 30 years ago, but now we're who you need to be the team you want to be. Yeah. That's how it is. That's just how it is at this point. People can say whatever they want to say, but we are the team they need to be. And that's the clear and truth. And they need to do it in the playoffs. This regular season stuff doesn't matter, because you're not doing anything in the playoffs. So they just showed me exactly who they are. That's really what it came down to.
Young True of the Super Chat says, watch every game so far. It seems like it feels like the old Fishing Man commercial. You got to be quicker than that. Nah, I'm good. Fix this ASAP. Let's have it go.
I agree. Yeah.
I agree. No, it's between, like, you have leaders that, like, veterans. You have, like, Stephon Gilmore and Micah Parsons on their fucking podcast last week. I mean, it's just so, like, if I had our players doing that, I'd be calling that shit out in 2 seconds. Like, if I had it's like Slay going on his podcast saying, oh, he blamed the refs for the, like, dude, like, seriously, Bradbury took accountability in the Super Bowl and said, I held the guy. I mean, what guy? Well, who does? I mean, seriously, there's not a lot of people that do that shit. And he did that. Accountability, dude. Like, now they'll go, they won this game. They, Cooks everyone had a big game. CeeDee Lamb, look what he did. The one-handed cat, it's all, everything worked out for them. They threw to the tight ends. Everybody was successful in that game. But there's nothing else for them to grab onto. Like, they lost against the Cardinals this year.
Yeah.
If we're this bad and we lost against the Jets, they lost against probably the worst. They lost against the worst team in football, I'd have to say.
It does.
And they just won and the Cardinals just won with Kyler Murray coming back. They just won with him the other day. That's why, I usually concentrate on us every week, because at the end of the day, they lost. They're going to bitch about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Now it's not going to beat us in our house. That's exactly the next thing now.
And then when we beat them in their house, it's going to be, you ain't going to do nothing in the playoff. They want people to beat us. That's really where they're at right now. They're hoping that somebody else beats us, because that's the only way that game in Dallas matters. If we beat, who do we got? We got the Kansas City Chiefs and then the Bills, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check.
Yeah.
So, we have the Chiefs, the Bills, and the San Francisco 49ers. If we win all those games, that Dallas game doesn't matter.
It does. No, it's first seed is it because really by the time, if you even face Dallas, even if you lose against Dallas, okay, you're down to the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Giants. And I'm telling you right now, it wouldn't surprise me if they have first seed by that time and they play Hurts for a half for every one of those games. It wouldn't surprise me, because really, to be honest, as much as, when has an NFC East team really, when you sweep the whole division like that would be great, but those games might not even matter at the end of the year. They might be resting a lot of guys for those games.
That's why this next stretch matters so much. Because realistically, we're 8-1 right now. They're 6-3, right? So they're 2 games behind us. I don't see 2 games. I don't see 3 games that we're going to lose. So they have to hope that at least 2, because if we beat the Bills and the Chiefs, it wouldn't really matter if we lost to San Fran. They could only tie us, and then we're not losing to Seattle, the Giants, or the Cardinals. I just don't see that. So I don't know. There's going to be, they're in a bad situation. They don't want to admit it, but they're in a tough situation, and the Eagles are in a great situation.
No, I totally agree. When it comes to first seed, though, we're not, the 49ers are obviously, they won their game against the Jags 34-3. And obviously, the defense for the Jags is great. I think their defense is pretty good. Trevor Lawrence has really bad pocket awareness. I mean, it's probably the worst I've ever seen. And he's about to get tackled. He throws these darts, the receivers don't even know these balls are coming, which results in these deflections from these receivers, and they end up with picks. Just couldn't, your offense couldn't sustain, the Jags couldn't sustain anything on offense the whole entire game. So now the 49ers are healthy now. And, now they're back to, they've had a few promising wins this year. They're a good team. There's no doubt about it. And when healthy, they look better. They get their left tackle back. They get, what's his face back from the hairline fracture. So, Debo's back now, so
but isn't seeing ghosts of Hassan Reddick. And
and Hassan Reddick has marked that game on his calendar, man. They're coming to Philadelphia again, so that's going to be a pretty nice game for us. And hopefully they do some damage there. But we'll see what happens. But I think from your opinion, and I already have the answer, and I don't know if you've been, watching every team at times, but who is the number one threat in the NFC right now for first seed?
NFC East or NFC?
NFC.
If I'm being 100% honest, I don't think anybody could really beat the Eagles but the Eagles right now. But if I had to pick a team, I would probably say the 49ers. I think that the 49ers they're a lot like us. Like Brock Purdy is nothing like Jalen Hurts. That's probably where we have the biggest, one up. But they're a gritty, very physical defense. They don't have good quarterback play either, so we're even more similar like that. But they're a very just like pounded out, ground and pound. They're gonna take their time. I think that's what the Eagles like to do. They like to take their time on offense, work their way down the field. The 49ers like that type of pace. They're cool with that type of pace. They're one of the only teams I think in the NFC that doesn't mind getting dirty with you. Like, a lot of these teams in the NFC, I feel like they're ready. But Detroit is in Detroit in the yeah, they are in the
NFC.
Detroit is. I don't know. Detroit to me is like you stop Jared Goff, you can beat them. I'm not. I like them. I don't love them yet.
Yeah, but
I'll say that.
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah, the 49ers, they lost those 3 straight games, which really did help the Eagles a lot. But Detroit is 7-2 right now.
Yeah,
7-2. They've just beat the Chargers 41-38. Now the rest of their schedule, it's a little alarming. Because I think this is a team that we really have to, sink our teeth into, because at the end of the day, who they have?
Yeah, they got an easy schedule.
They got Chicago. They got Green Bay. They got the Saints. They got Chicago. They got Denver. Now they got to play Minnesota, Dallas, Minnesota. So we might have to depend on the Cowboys to win a game. We'll see. I'm hoping we don't have to. Easy schedule if they don't overlook a team, obviously, from that schedule. But they're definitely way better than a lot of those teams. The Vikings have been playing so much better now. Josh Dobbs is good for him, man. Very proud of him.
He deserves it.
And that team and Justin Jefferson isn't even playing yet. So those last 3 games, that 3-game stretch they have at the end, or if they end up fumbling one of these other easy games that they should win, that's a team I've been really 49ers and 100% the Detroit Lions. This is going to be a team that hasn't had success in years.
Yeah.
So how they take it is really up to them. If they fumble it.
Yeah, I didn't really look at their schedules. I mean, yeah, the Lions make a lot of sense. The Lions definitely make a lot of sense. I don't know. I just don't love them yet. I really don't love them yet. They could definitely win that, the division. I just don't see. I don't see them winning the conference. Who else is? Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, you could say the Seahawks. The Seahawks didn't look that great against Washington, so I can't say the Seahawks, but I guess you could.
Yeah,
make that
I don't think Detroit's pass rush is great as everyone thinks. I think their run game is their run defense is okay. It's not great, but it's not bad. So that's just something you have to watch out for. But at the end of the day, we got to take care of business. I mean, because it may look scary from afar, like, oh my God, we got the Bills. Did the Bills win tonight?
That's a good question. I think they're playing right now. No.
Let me see.
The Bills are up and down them damn selves. The Bills are not looking like a team.
Jesus Christ, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Denver is a weird team, bro. Denver is such a weird team. It's like, how the hell do you beat random teams? But Josh Allen already has 2 interceptions. That man is a walking interception.
Jesus.
That has been like the easiest bet. They just opened up bets back in Florida, so now every game I'm doing a Josh Allen interception prop because it feels like every single game he has an interception or 2. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy. Young Truth Super Chat. Thank you so much. I wish we had a B-Dog or Seth Joyner to motivate us. Oh, I get it, dude.
I'll take a B-Dog right now, or even like Mufasa. Remember when we had...
The question isn't motivation. It's just it may look like they have no motivation because of the way they're playing, but I think the motivation's there. But I think when the same plays you're getting beat nonstop by the same shit every week. Like, I think it's tiresome just a little bit. With certain guys, I mean, who knows? We don't know what's going on. But there might be guys who are like, dude, what is this coach doing with the second? Like, what's my job? Like, well, that's what I want to say. Like,
why am I here? What do I do with my hands?
Like,
coach, what do I mean, I think that you said it earlier, and I think it's true. This team will let them know. Like, if they feel in some type of way, we have that leadership committee for a reason. I don't know what they're called. I think it's just leadership committee.
Losing will do it. Losing will cause shit to happen, but we're not losing. That's the thing.
Which says a lot about this team to still, voice their opinions when you're looking bad. You got to just be honest about it. And that's what I try to tell, like, even fans. Like, I know we can't do anything about it, but to just sit here and be like, oh, they're perfect. They're perfect. It's going to smack you in the mouth when we lose because of ways that everybody's been saying that we haven't been looking good. You got to just realize, hey, this is something we can't see happen to our team. There's certain ways that I know this team can win, and I know there's certain ways that we can get exposed. We haven't lost yet because of it, but well, I mean, I guess the Jets game, but since the Jets game, our offense has literally gotten better every single game, I feel like. So I don't know. Defense needs to just catch up. That's
really the offense is just situational football, like on certain downs, where like certain plays just make sense, and where you should be running the ball more, where you should be wasting more time into with a lead. Like there are things that just make sense. Like I absolutely get it. I wonder how much Hurts is going to be healthy. I'm actually really excited to see, like, because like I was actually kind of surprised, like after we talked last week when you said like, hey, what if you want to sit out Jalen Hurts for the KC game? And then there was a lot of Eagles fans on Twitter talking about that. And I was like, oh, you know what? I never thought of it that way. To say, is what's more important? Is one game this important, or is it more, the future of this team and like got to keep a guy healthy? The last thing you want is Jalen Hurts having a knee problem the rest of his career and taking these unnecessary hits. So a lot of Eagles fans were talking about it, but even if the coaches were like, you're not playing, you're not going to play, Jalen, you're not getting into this game, I hardly doubt he would sit there and be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll sit out this game.
That would be the biggest fight. That would be it would look like AJ Brown on the sideline when he didn't get that ball. Yeah, that's the thing. If he's even 90%, I doubt that he's gonna be like, yeah, all right, I'm not gonna play. I'll just sit this one out, guys. Like he's gonna want to play, especially like you were saying earlier. This probably means a little something for these players. You know what I'm saying? They definitely probably want to get a little bit of their pride back against these Chiefs. So it's going to be tough for him to sit, but I doubt it happens, but it's definitely something to think of.
Yeah, like I feel like you can get this win out against KC. I think you'll be. I mean, they win against KC. I think it'll be. I mean, if you can win in KC, whether Taylor Swift's there or not, so I'm sick of that bullshit too. But Travis Kelce definitely scares me, though, no doubt.
Yeah,
he scares me.
He's played better with Swift there, so maybe we need to make sure she doesn't show up.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But yeah, I mean, I think we've gone over everything. Just what happened this weekend, the bye week in general, and obviously the Eagles are still trying to sign some depth pieces. I know they worked out. I know they signed a center. I think they signed a center today.
Yeah, Ross.
What the fuck? Like, okay.
I think it's Ross Tucker trying to go under another name. He loves calling the games for us, so he's like, you know what? I'm gonna get back on his team.
Yeah. And hopefully it's a Monday night game, so it's gonna be a big game. It's a big one. Between two teams, a Super Bowl rematch, and a lot goes into it. I mean, look, there's a lot. I don't know, like between like the screensaver on Jalen Hurts' phone and training, during the offseason when he was walking through the confetti, he had the picture on his phone when someone overlooked him when he was sitting down. And I'm not going to take too much out of it because it's still a regular season game. Like this isn't like, I'll feel good inside that we beat this team and, no wet field is going to stop us this time. So that will be a big plus.
Can't paint on their grass. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to. They're going to paint on their grass and try and recreate the Super Bowl.
They're going to water that shit again like 2 days before the game or some shit.
They gonna put tarp down before we go out on the field. Hold up, guys. Hold up.
Yeah. Need as many Eagle fans there as possible. I know it'll probably be very tough to get into that, to get over there, but they'll try their asses off though, no doubt.
Taylor Swift says she a Philly fan. She need to get.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit that for this guy to be like, I want to keep my private life private. Yeah, sure, buddy. Right. She walks.
Good luck with that one,
she's done with her shit, and she runs over to him, and he's sitting right by the exit tunnel, right in front of it. I'm talking a millimeter right in front of the exit tunnel. She puts her arms around him, and it's just so like, God, I want to fucking beat this team on Monday. I am tired of this
made us
shit,
all
dude.
Hate Kansas City even more. She could have picked any guy. She had to pick a Kansas City Chief.
And I'm telling you right now, dude, I said this before. Like, if there is a rematch, if this happens again, I want Jason Kelsey to fucking cut that fucking podcast for 2 weeks. I'm not even kidding, dude. Like, okay, the brother versus brother Super Bowl, Mama Kelsey, love you, but like, I don't fucking care anymore. Like,
Let
I'm
Mama
done
Kelsey
with it.
and Papa Kelsey do the podcast together. They could talk about their children for 2 weeks. I don't want to see Jason up there.
No, I don't either. Like, there's been some shit that's pissed me off a little bit. Like, there was like a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, where like, Travis was like holding the Super Bowl trophy on it's just really fucking just annoyed me. Like, it's just, I don't know.
We got to get our pride back. We should have got that win. That should be our Super Bowl. I want it. We're going to go get it. We're going to go get it.
No, it's like, am I calling this a revenge game? To an extent, I'm not gonna say it's the ultimate revenge. No, it's just like one of those things where like I just want to beat them and be like, see you soon. Like that's where I'm at with this team right now.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's the perfect way of putting it. That really is the perfect way of putting it. It's like just being like, yeah, even win or lose, I want to get through this game. I want to get through it healthy. I want it to be a good fight, and then I want to just be like, all right. See you back in Philly. Like, see you back in Philly, brother, because it's not back and be back in Philly. I'm lying. Where's the Super Bowl this year? In Vegas? Not Vegas. Where
Vegas.
Is it Vegas? Yeah, so that's what I'm. I'll see you in Vegas. I see you.
But be honest, dude, that Raider Stadium is nice. It's really nice.
I'm excited for it. I'm gonna try and get down to the game. At least get down to Vegas. Like,
you're gonna go to the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna try.
If we're in it,
I was this close. I think I told you I was this close to going to the Super Bowl, but the party that the company, when I was working with the guys and stuff, the party ended up getting canceled like 2 months before, so it kind of sucked. But it is what it is. I'm gonna try and go this year. I don't care. I know people that are gonna be out there. I know a couple, former players and a couple of guys that live out there now. So I'm gonna be like, hey, what I gotta do to go down? You know what I'm saying? Get me a Super Bowl ticket, dog.
Where the fuck are you gonna? Where you gonna sleep? You're gonna be in like in a motel for $1,500 a night.
I'll figure it out. I will figure it out because at the end of the day, like I know some people out there, so I think I can make it happen where it wouldn't be too like crazy cost wise. Like I already got basically the draft figured out because I know one of my boys out there works for one of their media companies out there, so I already know I'm out there at the draft. I'm probably gonna get kind of hooked up through them. So I already have that figured out. Now I just got to figure out the Super Bowl. I'm hoping I can get credentials. That opens up pretty soon. So I don't care. I'm going all out this year. I'm gonna try my hardest to try and get out on that field.
Yeah, I think once you got like a taste of it, now you're like, damn, I don't give a fuck if I have to put the mortgage out on my home. No.
Yeah, shout out to credit cards, shout out to credit cards and a very supportive girlfriend because I would not be able to do any of that stuff without it. But yeah, I want to go. I want to, even with the Super Bowl, they do like online media stuff too.
Yeah, I've seen
so you don't even have to go to the Super Bowl and you can still interview the players and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. So maybe if, even if I can do that, I'll do that.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. So I hope you could do it because that's got to be a Super Bowl experience would be fucking insane.
Ridiculous. And especially since we're going to win it this year. That's why we didn't win last year because I couldn't get out there. So I apologize to everybody.
It meant something.
This year I'm going to try and get out there so we can make sure we win. That's it.
Yeah. It's the same as like going to an Eagles game and like depending like if you have connections or if you don't have connections and you're spending a fortune on tickets and you go to a game and the team loses, it sucks. It's one of the worst feelings to leave.
I'm about going to the Cowboys game. I'm really starting to kind of contemplate that. Like I ain't gonna lie, like I went once to one game before, but I literally went there the morning of. And then left that night. Like I literally got on a plane at like 12 at night and got back home because that was the only way I could really do it. But this I kind of want to go and I want to experience it all because like I've seen the game and that's cool. The stadium is massive. It's like it's like a train station. Like you ever been like like those New York train stations. That's how it looks like. But it's massive. It's a beautiful stadium. But I want to see everything. I want to feel. The weekend. I want to feel people yelling at you outside the car and just see if they got that. Because I feel like a lot of Cowboys fans are soft out there. So I want to see. I want to see. I do.
I get it. But yeah, other than that, I think we're good. I'm gonna keep checking this game tonight and see how bad this is gonna get for the Bills because we're wearing Kelly Green for that Bills game. We ain't losing that shit.
Yeah, we better blow them out.
It ain't happening.
Look at that, Russell Wilson looking like a real quarterback. That's how you know it's bad. When Russell Wilson looking good, you know it's getting bad. Like, yeah, y'all haven't given up an interception yet.
Yeah.
The Bills are frauds, bro. A lot of these teams, bro. I'm not saying we're the most perfect team in the world, but everybody makes such a big deal about us struggling here and there. Bro, we are fine. We are fine. We're finding ways to win. A lot of these teams wish they could just find ways to win.
Yeah, well, the way the Bills, like, kind of just like every time they get to the playoffs, they look like shit. I mean, Stephon Diggs was definitely one that was just like he was like throwing his quarterback under the fucking bus.
Yeah,
like,
they're
literally.
the Buffalo Cowboys. That's what they're Buffalo Cowboys. It's just colder out there on a more regular basis. That's the only difference. That is the only difference. Buffalo is, and it sucks because I actually like Josh Allen. Like, I never really hated Josh Allen. I thought he was a fun player to watch, but people make me hate him because all you hear is about how elite he is, and Jalen Hurts ain't no Josh Allen. He ain't no Josh Allen.
Yeah,
he ain't no Josh. What is Josh Allen? What is Josh Allen? Like, bro, I would take Dak over Josh Allen at this point if I'm being real. At least I know what I'm getting out of Dak. I know I'm going to get out in the second round, but in the regular season, he's going to be all right. He's going to be all right. Josh Allen's just.
Broncos scored.
Another one?
Someone said in the chat they scored.
They're first and goal on the 3-yard line, so it looks like they about to.
Damn. Dude, they're going to be 5-5. That's fucking crazy. They remember after remember after the playoff game, like the GM was like, oh, we can't, it's hard to make moves because we're paying a quarterback this, and but like he was just making excuses on why he can't add more. I mean, Tre'Davious White and Milano, both of those guys, those are two big losses for their defense. Yeah. They signed Rasul Douglas. I mean, what is he gonna?
That's what I'm saying. They don't try. They're not even trying. And that's the same thing with like the Cowboys. That's why they're a perfect comparison. They're more of a for-profit business than they are a football team. And that's why people hate the Philadelphia Eagles, because we are a football team. We are literally like, it feels like the Philadelphia Eagles are a team that is really on just TV. Like this is all a dream. This is all make-believe. There's somebody playing Xbox right now controlling the Philadelphia Eagles and just wants to win championships. That's how we run our franchise. Like literally, it feels like Jeffrey Lurie's like, listen, whatever we got to do, get it done. I don't care what it happens. Just we got to win. That's our financial game. If we win, we get money. With the Cowboys and the Bills and even the Chargers, it feels like it's like if we can make money, then we win. You know what I'm saying? It's not if we win, we make money. It's if we make money, then we win. And I would hate that. I would hate that mentality. I think all of Philadelphia would. So sucks to suck.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down like I think of Philadelphia, like this roster this year and the way they're like, I feel like they're just a gritty team that just fights every game, because I feel like the media, like they suck up to like, oh, they score 30 points a game. They have these easy wins every week and nonchalant, winning in style is like, how it's supposed to be every week. It's because I'm telling you, like, could be a time where like the Eagles are clawing every week and then they just look totally different later on. I mean, just could look like catching teams off guard. Because at this point, like the way they're winning right now, they're not, there's no creativity. And just imagine if they add that later on, which is going to throw teams off, because it could happen. Like they could be like, oh shit, we could take advantage of, what we're doing now in the playoffs or something like that. If they're in an NFC championship game or whatnot, or in the Super Bowl, like who knows, like I'm not going to go ahead of myself. I'm not guaranteeing the Eagles are going to be in the Super Bowl, but you have the roster to do it. It's just, it's down to the coaching aspect of it.
We could do it, man. We could do it. I think we will. But yeah, like you said, we just got to add another layer. And hopefully this bye week, we did that. This is the best time to do it. This is literally the best time to do it. You had an easy schedule in the beginning. You won some important games. Now it's time to get in the second half and have some fun.
It's like the media. Dak is such a good boy. Look how glossy his coat is.
Bruh. They just love that dude, bruh. I've never seen so many stats come up after a
dude. There is no way as a Cowboys fan you could be satisfied with a fucking win like that. Like, there's no way deep inside you're like, we're back, or there's just no fucking way, dude. They're gonna beat on 2. I hope they overlook us. I really hope they do. I hope they kill Carolina by 40 plus, 50 plus, and then they go into that game at home because they were never beaten there, so it's never gonna happen. And the Eagles are the best team on the road. I mean, statistically, they're the best team statistically, because that's all we can talk about is statistics.
Yeah, that's all they're gonna talk about. Yeah, I hope we blow them. I don't even care if we blow them. Just win again. Win another game. It would feel nice to not have to worry about it till the last second, but just go out there and find ways to win. If we can find ways to, win in the Super Bowl, I don't care what the score is. It is what it is. Just win.
True that. All right, well, we got 161 in the chat. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, like the stream. If you guys haven't subscribed to Joe Castro of Philly the podcast, his link is in the description below, and click on his @ in the title to get to his channel a lot quicker. And definitely subscribe. What do you have planned for the channel for this week? Getting ready for KC. What's going on?
We talking KC all week. Today was my, bash Cowboys day. It was the last one. But all KC all week. We're gonna be going into some stuff. Probably have some more guests this week, and just have some fun with it, man. I'm finally on a little bit of a regular schedule, so I will be back for the morning Joes. A lot of people have been asking, so I appreciate all the love and support of those people that been hitting me up. But we're gonna get back to the morning Joes, and we're gonna have a schedule out for that pretty soon, because I'm not gonna do it every day, but we are gonna be doing it at least like 3 or 4 times a week. So other than that, just good old waiting for the Eagles to play next Monday, and then me and you will probably be changing the Joe show. We gotta come. Maybe somebody give us an actual name. But we'll figure out what we want to do next week. But just good old
double J's. Double J's are better than double D's on the weekend. That's what I can say.
JJ.
The double J's are better than the double D's on the weekend.
You only work with J's because you got 500. Now you got Joe and Joe. You only work with J's.
What is Joel or Joel? Joel.
Joel.
It's definitely not Joel.
It'd be Jay anyways, right?
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Maybe it's like French or something. Now we gotta ask him. It's a very specific way that you have to.
Yeah. But definitely subscribe to Joe. Link in the description, like I said, and we'll be back. So since we have the game Monday night, we'll probably change to Tuesday, most likely. Do our thing. So second half of the season is about to start, and we're ready to go for KC, and we'll see how the week goes, see any other moves happen or whatnot. We'll see what happens. But all right, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you on the next one. Shakes with Flower. Peace out, guys. Peace out.